You are listening to Studio MacGyver's Dragon Ball and Video Game Podcast.
What is going down? It is your boy, Studio MacGyver, and you are listening to Studio MacGyver's Dragon Ball and Video Game Podcast. Man, what a episode I have for you guys this time around. If you have not heard, guys, check out the last bonus episode, which was just released a few days ago. It's a 2-hour long special. I was a guest on somebody's show, and the guy goes by the name of Wonder Soul, aka Bearded Buddha. And man, we had a blast talking about all things Dragon Ball and gaming. And just to let you guys know, for in the future, he will definitely be joining me on my show. I'm going to try to get him worked in here, man, maybe once a month on this show. So be looking out for that. I did promise you guys that I was going to start having an actual panel on the show. So, you know, getting some diversity going on here and getting to talk to different people about, you know, the same subjects that I've been talking on this for damn near 2 years now. So finally coming around to that, man. I just wanted to give a special shout out to Wonder Soul for having me on his show. And I was definitely grateful to be there and to talk all things, man, Dragon Ball. So you guys can check that out. And you can also check out Wonder Soul as well if you like that. But this episode is definitely going to be a doozy. There's so much that has been happening, and I'm going to run down what is going to be being talked about. And let me start with Metacritic giving Fallout 76 a like 2.8. I think that's what it is currently right now. I think a lot of that is a little bit of trolling, but you know, realistically, you know, you probably give it, you know, a 50 out of 100. You know what I mean? It's a bad game. I don't even want to talk about that right now, but we're going to talk a little bit about that. We're going to talk about Bethesda and how you're probably not going to like this news. It has to do with, you know, Starfield and Elder Scrolls 6, and we'll get into that a little bit. Also, we're going to be talking about some Dragon Ball. Man, do we have some Dragon Ball shit now? This podcast will have spoilers. Okay, just giving you guys a fair warning. It will have spoilers for the upcoming Brawly movie. So if you don't want to find that out, damn, I hate to say this. I can't believe I'm even saying this, but I guess don't listen to this podcast. I don't know, man. It's all over the internet for the most part. If you dig deep enough, you can find it easily, YouTube and just other outlets out here. But yeah, man, there's a few spoilers. Nothing like too bad, you know what I'm saying? But there's a few things I'm very excited about. And there's some things that, you know, a lot of people of certain fans of certain individuals will not be happy about. But we'll get into that. Also, while we're on the Dragon Ball subject, we're going to also be talking about, man, we've got some news coming, some video game news. We've got some Dragon Ball Xenoverse news. We've got some Jump Stars, you know, stuff to talk about. And we also have a new fucking arc in Dragon Ball Super. Yes, I'll definitely be touching on that. What else do we have here? Sony. Okay, let's talk about Sony. Everybody heard about the Sony the PlayStation Classic. You know, that's apparently a big letdown by a lot of people out here in these video game streets. We're going to talk about that. Also, PS3 servers, you know, finally, you know, the end is near, officially for everything PlayStation 3 server wise. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. And then Sony is not going to be showing up at next year's E3. Like, what the fuck is that about? So we're going to talk a little bit about that as well. So everything I've talked about just now, guys, I mean, goddamn, let's dive into all this shit. But yeah, let's get started. First, I want to talk about the shit that's been going on with Fallout 76, with Bethesda, all this bullshit, man. It's crazy because I talked about it before on previous episodes about how, you know, the fans can't be taken lightly when it comes to, you know, gaming, and when it comes to, you know, anything that we're passionate about. And apparently everybody is very passionate about this this debacle, if you want to call it that, that they call Fallout 76. The game has been released. The reviews are out and they are not good. The game is basically terrible right now, right out the gate. Who knows what will happen later on down the line. Maybe they can clean some of this up. I don't know, but I did talk about how from the outside looking in, what it looks like to me is Bethesda put all their money behind marketing of this title, and they did not put enough time and effort or money into a new IP, into paying, getting enough testers to work out all the kinks and the bugs. So, it's a pretty, buggy game, especially PC wise, and not a lot of people are happy with this game. Fallout 4 came out, and I actually liked Fallout 4, but I always did think that the IP was getting a little stale, a little bit old, and the graphics and all that needed a change. And you would think now with PlayStation 4 and Xbox One and Xbox One X and all this shit out here that they might be taking advantage of some of that, but they have not done it. I think they've been coasting on the name of the titles and riding that into the sunset, thinking that that's going to be enough to get them through and make them immune from any adversity or anybody calling them out on it or whatever. But it looks like now that time is finally coming to an end where people are getting tired of the same shit, and they're not taking it anymore. And right now we're seeing the result of that with these poor scores. And to add insult to injury though guys, I have to bring more bad news when it comes to Bethesda, because apparently these guys are going to be using the same engine for Starfield, an upcoming title, and also Elder Scrolls 6. Yes, they're going to be using the same engine. They're not changing the IP on any of these titles. And to be honest with you, man, if I'm thinking about it, I don't see them doing that until the next generation's console. I don't know why they're waiting this long. Who knows? I mean, that's just me just throwing a thought out there. I think that's what they're going to do. That's what it seems like, because if you got all these other upcoming games and you got the same IP, you're using the same shit, you're just putting stickers and band-aids on it, that's not good. It's telling me that you don't give a fuck about what the fans are talking about. Well, hopefully all the stuff going on now will give them a good indication of what's actually going on out here in these video game streets, because somehow I feel that they've lost their fucking way. And sometimes that happens when you have a prominent game developer who's put out great games, great titles in the past, and loses track of the times that we're living in and the changes that are being taken place. And in the end result of that, you get what we're looking at here with Fallout 76, a company who has never put out an online game of this magnitude, and they just kind of slapped some band-aids on it, slapped this Fallout license on it and thought that, oh, it's going to sell. So yeah, man, it's going to be a lot, and I mean a lot of Fallout 76 beer coasters, ashtrays, out here in these streets pretty soon, or definitely a lot of trade-ins. So get ready for it, because it's going to happen. I thought I'd lay that on the line, and hopefully they see what's going on and they take heed and they actually make some changes, especially going forward with Starfield and Elder Scrolls. Hey, if you got to put the games out later, just do it. I mean, like Nike, put it out later, man. As long as you're fixing something and trying to make something better, I'll fucking wait. I'm sure a lot of us don't mind waiting if it's going to be a better product. You know what I mean? Yeah, waiting hurts for gamers sometimes, but as long as we're getting a good product, hey, we'll wait. Moving on from Bethesda, even it coming out of my mouth, man, even coming off of my tongue, I have a sour taste in my mouth. But let's talk about PlayStation. Yes, PlayStation, man. The PlayStation Classic. Now, I've talked about this on the podcast before. I've actually, let you guys know what games were actually included on this. And, for the most part, for me personally, it was just an okay type of thing. And I thought that the price was a little too steep, $100 for this, for 20 games. And half of the games aren't, in my opinion, don't deserve to be on this list. But when you have so many games for one said system, it's kind of hard to to please everybody. I know that, and I know there's certain games that everybody's gonna want that's not gonna be on their list. So it is what it is on that aspect. But talking about everything else, as far as the bells and whistles and everything that comes with this game system, it's not really good at all, man. Everybody's saying that it's completely basic, bare bones, and they have done nothing to go out of their way to try to appease fans or give us anything bonus wise. And I mean, what you see is what you get. You don't get any HD conversion. You don't get any of this stuff. So that's what a lot of people are upset about. You would at least think that they would have some sort of HD conversion on here. So in my opinion, I think a lot of gamers who buy this are going to be buying this for to mod it and put games on there that they really want to play. Other than that, man, I don't see anybody picking this up. Maybe collection purposes, but as from a pure entertainment standpoint, I don't see that happening. Now there might be a couple games in there, hey, you might really like. I mean, there's some people out here who I might see getting some kind of enjoyment out of this. But if you're looking at 10 people and they're standing in line, 7 of those people are probably going to put this in the back and not fuck with it. But that's just me. That's just my opinion. That's just how I feel about it. You guys may feel differently. Please, if you do, I'd love to hear about it. I'm always open for discussion. Hit me on Twitter at Studio MacGyver and we can get into this. But that's that PlayStation Classic little tidbit. I'm going to move on from that. And we're going to talk about Square Enix. Yes, a company we all are familiar with. Well, most of us are if you like RPGs. And pretty good games. They're a great company. I fuck with Square Enix hard body. I like a lot of the things that they've done and that they are doing. But apparently right now they're developing a game right now as we speak for the PlayStation 5. Yes. We all know that the next gen is coming. I've talked about it before, and I'm still sticking to a 2020 time frame for when it's coming out. So late 2020, maybe early 2021. That's when we should see the PlayStation 5 out here in these streets. But yeah, they're working on stuff now. I've spoken about, developers and how, that stuff works with companies and how, games are being developed for, certain industries or whatnot. So to give you a quick example, if you haven't heard this before, there's these things called dev kits. And what that is basically Sony is sending out their dev kit of the PlayStation 5 so developers can get the tech and basically find out how to make games for that said tech. And as we all know, game development now, especially in this day and time, takes lots of people, a big team for the most part, and it takes a lot of time. So you're looking at an average of 2 to 3 years for one game to be developed. So these guys are passing out these kits now. They've probably already had them for a little bit now. And, to give themselves some cushion and some time. So when the system does come out, they'll have a plethora of games. At least they'll have, a few, couple dozen maybe, for release. And that's pretty much how it works. Xbox is probably doing the same thing, passing out dev kits to, all the developers we know and love and some we don't. And they're working on titles and working on, the games for us for the future. But yeah, it's no real big news to me right now. I knew this was going on, but a lot of you guys out here in the world may not know this and may not know how this works. So I was just letting you guys know how all that shit came to be. While we're still on the Sony train, let's talk about the PlayStation 3 servers. Yes, if you guys are out there who still fuck with PlayStation 3, man, sad news if you're playing online. Now, me personally, I have a PlayStation 3. I love my PS3. It's sitting right beside my PlayStation 4, and I still play it. I still fuck with a lot of games on it. Most recently, I fuck with the Rainbow Six, Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six, Vegas 2. I love that fucking game. A friend of mine, we have so many great memories of playing it. We played it last weekend, and we're gonna play it again. Probably right around Thanksgiving. He's coming over and we're going to have a nice little get together and we're going to have some fucking fun. But if you guys are still playing online games, Well, they're officially shutting all the servers down. I think a lot of them are already down, but there's still some out there sprinkled out here throughout these video game streets. And now on what's the date? January 31st, 2019 is when everything will be officially dead. Just throwing that out there for you guys. If you are playing it, get ready to wrap it up. It's been a nice ride. It's been it's been a nice trip, man, and it's finally coming to an end. And it is what it is. Everything has to come to an end. Everything good. So, R.I.P. man. January 31st. All right. Last but not least, with the Sony thing, I want to touch on real quick. Sony has announced that they are not, and listen to me closely, Sony has announced that they are not going to be at 2019's E3. Yes. When I first heard that shit, I was like, what? They're not going to be at E3, man. Now, the first thing that popped in my mind was, why are they doing this? Are they just, already looking ahead, like towards the PlayStation 5? Or what's going on? Why wouldn't they be there? And I think the reason is they want to try something different, and they don't want to be, just another, game company at E3. I think they're getting bold. That they're really putting their nuts on the table, and they're going to be making some moves. Now, we all know Sony is synonymous for dope games. They have a great library of first party games, which is why I own the system. That's my number one system, and because of that, I think they have some up their sleeves. I think it's going to be, at a PlayStation only event that we're going to see the things that, we were looking for at E3. And I think that's cool as well, because there's no way that Sony is going dark for a whole fucking year without anything. It's just not going to happen, man. So I'm looking forward to what they're going to do, how they're going to do this. I don't know what they really have planned, but only thing we do know is that they're not going to be at this upcoming E3. So I guess they're going to give the spotlight to, Microsoft and, Nintendo, and that's cool. I'm just wondering what they're going to have in store for us, but we'll see, man. Only time will tell, and we'll definitely jump on that when that time approaches. I just thought that was crazy. I don't remember when they weren't at E3. I've heard that there has been another event before that they have, they didn't show up at, but other than that, I don't know, man. I think that's all of the other stuff out of the way before I get into this Dragon Ball shit, because yeah, man, there's some Dragon Ball shit going down. Okay, where should I start? Okay, let's start with the shit that's gonna take place after the Dragon Ball movie, after the Broly movie. Okay, if you guys don't know, there is a fucking new arc in development right now that's going to be coming out pretty soon, and it's going to be in a manga form. So, yes, there's a manga in the works. It takes place after the events of the Dragon Ball Super Broly movie. Now, the name of this, I'm going to pull up in Two Shakes of a Lamb's Tail and let you guys know what it is. The actual name of this arc is called the Galactic Patrol Prisoner Arc. And like I said before, it's going to take place after the events of the Broly movie. And no other details as far as what this story is entailing, what's going on with it or anything. There's no real info. That's really all the info I have right now. And who knows? Toriyama and these guys, who knows? It's a brand new story. We do know that. So who knows what characters are going to be in this? Who knows if anybody from Super is going to be in this? I'd have no clue. And I don't, and they decided to skip the movie arc there. So they're not doing, at least right now, they're not doing any manga based off of the movie. Okay. So I don't know if they're going to do that later. I don't know if this manga is just going to be something separate. I I don't know if it's going to tie into, what's going to happen in the future. And, also, who knows, they could take this arc. We could be looking at this in anime form, when Dragon Ball Super comes back. They could take this manga and they could break it down and turn it into, some of the first chapters of the new arc going forward. So I don't know. They could take this a number of different ways. It could go all kind of ways. They could also they could also take, to give themselves even more cushion, they could also take, the movie and break it down into its own anime arc, and then, kind of like what they did with Resurrection of F, and then go from there, and then do this arc after that in anime form. Or they could not. They could just go straight up, brand new anime straight after the events of the Broly movie and the events of this Galactic Patrol prisoner arc. So, I mean, I just gave you guys a plethora of different scenarios. Who knows how this shit is going to turn out? I'm excited just as a fan to find out how it's going to happen. The movie's right around the corner. So much hype is involved around this. I think this is going to be the best Dragon Ball movie to date. I really do. And hearing people talking about it, because the movie's already done. And, when I saw some of these spoilers and I found out about what was going on, I lost my shit, man. And a lot of you guys might lose your shit as well. Especially if you're a fan of Gohan, man, God damn it. I'm sorry. Okay. I'm going to run it down and then I'm going to talk a little bit about this, these spoilers, man. Let's just break into this right quick. Okay, man. And most of this information I got, shout out to Geekdom 101. It's a YouTuber I fuck with, and he's into the Dragon Ball scene heavy, and he does a lot. He knows a lot of people, and this is where I get a lot of my stuff from. So shout out to Geekdom 101. Anyway, Broly versus Gogeta takes place. Okay, this is one of the facts in this movie. All right. So Gogeta is a thing. Gogeta is going to happen. Okay. There's also a comic relief portion of the movie where Vegeta and Goku fail at doing the fusion for Gogeta. Toriyama is gonna have to have some comic relief somewhere in here, man. That's just part of his MO. It has to have some kind of comic relief, and that's cool. That's gonna be in this movie, okay? Also, Piccolo, we've seen images. A lot of us have seen images of Piccolo in this film, right? Okay. Well, he is in this film, but Piccolo will not be fighting in this movie. Okay. Piccolo is just simply there to help out Vegeta with learning the fusion, learning how to fuse. That's pretty much what the gist of it is. So yes, Piccolo will not be fighting. Everybody in this movie is above him grade wise as far as combat is concerned. And that's kind of sad too. And I'll get to that a little bit later, but that is the premise of what's going on right now, with that. Also, okay, Gohan has little or nothing to do with the film. Okay. And actually there's been no Gohan sightings from the source of this story, that they could find. So unless he gets 20 seconds, 30 seconds of, just watching some TV or something with the rest of the Z Fighters or something, I don't know, but it's nothing major at all whatsoever. Okay. That's another sad thing that I'm going to talk about, a little bit later. All right. This is something that could be fucking sweet. Okay. Whis fights Broly in this movie. Whis actually fights Broly in this movie. Yes. And apparently, if you know Whis has those motherfucking hands. And probably can't touch him. Okay. So that is a thing. That's all I have. That's all I can tell you on that. And I'll leave it at that. I'll leave it there. The next tidbit in this is that Broly will be a relatable character. He will be sympathetic and very relatable this time around, which excites me which I always wanted to fucking, be a Broly fan. I always, thought that, he could be a dope character if written in the right way. And apparently they've done that. Apparently he has a lot of different layers now. He's more sympathetic. And if this is true, like I said before on many podcasts before, I will I will love Broly for that. Especially the new design. I really love this new design as opposed to the other design as well. Everything about this Broly, man, is pretty fucking lit to me. I really like this Broly. So only thing left on the table is to really find out how deep this character goes, how deep, his layers are, and learn more about this new Broly. That's why I'm excited for this movie as well, because it's just a lot of new shit. And we all know Toriyama and Toei, they don't fucking believe in canon now. I mean, it's official. They don't. So I always say if they're not going to give us canon and canon doesn't really matter, then just make the shit good. That's all I care about. So as long as they make the shit good, which apparently they are doing, because everybody around this movie has been saying nothing but sweet things about it. And they also said that the movie is going to be mainly told by, fighting. Fighting is going to tell a lot of the story. Also, Broly gets saved by Chile from Gogeta. So apparently Gogeta is working his motherfucking ass in this movie and about to lay him down, okay, like an old R&B song. And then at the last minute, he's actually saved by a character named Chile in this motherfucking movie, okay? Chile is that character, that strange alien-looking character that you guys may know, you may not know. There are pictures on the internet of this character, but like I said, I'm anxious to know who these characters are, more about them. And hopefully we should get some information on that. But yeah, man. And let me also add this real quick for Vegeta fans, which I am one of them. They say that Vegeta gets some more character development in this movie, a lot more, as far as his love and admiration and his feelings for Bulma in this movie. So he's going to express that in some shape, form, or fashion in this movie. I cannot wait to see that, because that to me would be awkward as fuck. Coming from Vegeta, if you're a Vegeta fan, you know that type of stuff is awkward, and for him, and he cares about his loved ones or whatnot, but he's not really good at showing that. You know what I mean? So I can't fucking wait to see how that transpires. I cannot wait. But those are the main spoilers of this movie, man. Yeah. But what I wanted to kind of talk about was the fact that, Piccolo is just, he's a regular person now. He's basically, he's not doing anything. And then Gohan is supposedly not even, his role is even smaller. And that's the part that really is complicated to me, right? What I really don't understand about that, because I mean, we all saw, the last arc, and we all saw what happened. We all saw, Gohan getting serious again, getting back into fighting mode and all of this. And then all of a sudden, just to be clipped at the end by Android 17. And then on top of all of that, he's a ghost. He's a ghost going forward. Now, I don't know what's going to happen moving forward in the next arcs. Who knows what the fuck? We don't know. But as of right now, all we have to go on is what's happened up to this point. And up to this point, Gohan has not been used, in my opinion, the right kind of ways that he should have been used. They could have worked him in some kind of way. And I'm just, look, I'm not even a Gohan fan, but I can see when certain characters, don't deserve or don't need to be used in certain ways. I mean, we all know Gohan is one of the most powerful characters out of the whole group. At one point, he was stronger than everybody, and he was a fucking child. So you mean to tell me that after all this time, a reemergence of Gohan, who's serious again and who's training and who's trying to get better and stronger, you mean to tell me that he can't hold a candle to, Vegeta and Goku? Are you serious? That is what I mean by, plot holes and certain things that, I don't agree with. And I mean, it is what it is, I guess. I mean, I have no control over it. We have no control over it. What these guys are going to do. Hopefully they get it together and figure something out and give him some kind of role moving forward. I really, really believe that they should do that. It would be more better for it. And then really to, on the Piccolo thing, I mean, they should find some things and really challenge themselves as writers and developing stories, what to do with the rest of the characters, because they're kind of like in anime limbo, in Dragon Ball limbo. And what I mean is they're way stronger than humans. They're almost aliens in a sense to themselves. They're superhumans, but they're not. They can't compete with the Saiyans, which are damn near godlike. So they're kind of like in this limbo stage where they can't really do anything. You know what I mean? It's like they're superhuman and they can do so many great things, but they're still just watching. And they can't really do anything. So I really think that either they should get a push, because you can make an argument that all of them could get valuable pushes and it'd be actually believable. I mean, you still have the hyperbolic time chamber that a lot of these guys could use. If Tien never, used it, they could do so many things with some of these characters and be like, well, how did he get so strong or whatever? Well, they actually went to the hyperbolic time chamber. They haven't went one time. And from I'm familiar, you can at least go twice. So there's a lot of different things they could do and get these characters a little stronger, or write them into the story or into another arc that, makes sense for them. You know what I mean? And hopefully that's still possible. Hopefully they still do that, because when I think of Dragon Ball, I think of the whole team. I think of like the anime X-Men, or, a team like that, full of elite fighters, who are just, here to protect the earth, man. And, fight for, that type of stuff. And all you have right now are, the Saiyans. That's pretty much it. You have the Saiyans and the gods. And they're technically, walking that fine line of being a god themselves. They technically are gods. I mean, they're that powerful now. And only getting stronger, man. Who knows when the fuck they will hit a ceiling or wall. Because apparently right now, I don't see a ceiling for these guys. I mean, I really don't. I see these motherfuckers just, I don't know, man. You know what I mean? They just can't be stopped. And I understand the humans only have, the humans have limits. They have, and for humans, for Krillin and Tien Shinhan and guys like that, what I don't even know how to explain it. I guess it kind of makes sense where they have ceilings or wall, they can't only get so strong. And you can even take that argument further and talk about, how is Tien really a human? I don't even know if he's all human. He's part human for sure, but that third eye, and there's been arguments back and forth on that, and that just brings me back around to square one, where Toriyama can do whatever he fucking wants to. He can change it back up to where, well, yeah, Tien is human, or he can say, oh no, he's part human, so he can grow a little further. I really don't know, but long story short, these guys should make the next arc. They should make it to where everybody can have a piece of the pie. Everybody can be involved, kind of like the tournament. I mean, as bad as some parts were for some characters, in my opinion, they still at least had certain parts. Roshi, I mean, they gave him a nice push. You know what I mean? So if they can do that with Roshi, I mean, goddamn it, you can do it for the rest of the cast, in my opinion, because Roshi's not even the strongest one out of the clique. I mean, Krillin, I don't even say Yamcha. Well, no, not Yamcha, because Yamcha just took a fucking break. But everybody else is I think stronger than Roshi on the squad. So if Roshi can do what he's doing, then I think that they can find something for the rest of the guys to do. Am I biased towards certain characters, certain bald-headed three-eyed character? Yes, I am. But, deservingly so. There's plenty of reasons I could lay on the table for that. And that's just me being passionate and acting like a bitch right now. And, when I'm getting a little bit in my feelings every time that character comes up. But it is what it is. I understand that, they want him to be a certain way, and it is what it is. He's not their favorite character, and it's all that, and it's all good. But that aside, we should still see, better writing for the other members moving forward, in my opinion. We should find something for these guys. Same thing with, there's Jiren and the team Just, all his clique, they could find spots for them as well. I don't know, man. I'm really excited though. Like I said, I can't complain because Dragon Ball is out here. It's in the air. It's still ongoing. So I can't really be that mad. I mean, the fact that I'm bitching about, how Tien is being used, in reality is a good thing, because, hey, he could be not being used at all. It could be no more Dragon Ball. We could be talking about, old episodes and rehashing stuff, which is fine as a Dragon Ball fan, but still, I'm gonna just shut up because it's all good. Basically, what I'm trying to say is, it's all good. I'm just looking forward to the future. Nobody knows what it holds as far as, the next arc, what it's going to entail. I don't know, man, but I'm just excited that it's here. I'm excited for the movie. And we have a lot of things to look forward to as Dragon Ball fans, guys. So, I mean, I'll leave it at that, man. I hope you guys enjoyed, some of this news. I'm sure some of you did not, especially Gohan fans, but I had to let it out. I had to let you guys know what the deal was. Moving forward with the podcast, I told you guys before, be looking forward to having other guests and listening to other guests on this podcast. I told you guys it was coming, and I had a great time doing that. We talked for like 2 hours. The podcast is fucking long as fuck. And, we still had stuff on the table left to talk about. So, adding that extra layer to the podcast, I think is going to do good things, and it's going to invite people in, and even some of you guys listening, man. I know a lot of you guys listening to this podcast are very, very passionate about gaming and very, very passionate about Dragon Ball or anime, and all things under that umbrella. And if you guys really, want to, I'll hold an open session. I welcome anybody to this podcast who has a computer and has a microphone and is willing to talk about gaming or anime. I'm willing to let you guys get on the show, man, and we can talk about some things. You know what I mean? Just basically prep. I'll pick your brain. You can pick mine. You know what I'm about, but I'd like to know what you guys are about, and then we can set up a time, and you guys can be a guest on the show, man. It's something I've been thinking about and something I want to do. So, with that being said, I'm going to get my ass up out of here. I want to thank each and everybody for listening to this podcast. I hope you enjoyed the bonus podcast, the 2-hour special with Wonder Soul and I. And if you want to reach out at me, and if you want to actually be on this podcast, maybe, one day be a guest and we can talk about some things. Hey, hit me up on Twitter at Studio MacGyver. Hit me on the Facebook page at Studio MacGyver as well. You can also hit me on Instagram, Studio MacGyver79. You can check me out on the YouTube channel, which is Studio MacGyver TV. Also, guys, if you're looking for merchandise, if you're looking for anime or gaming or nerd culture enthused merchandise, you can always go to www.beautifulnerds.com. Nerds is spelled Nurdz. You can get anything from beanies, hats, cups, hoodies, t-shirts, man, all kind of shit, bro. It's a lot of dope shit, and you can check them out at Beautiful Nerds. Okay. So with that being said, I'm going to get out of here. I hope you guys hit me up if you want to be a guest on the show at some point in time. Let's make that happen. Let's make that a reality, guys. I'm going to get out of here. You've been listening to Studio MacGyver's Dragon Ball and Video Game Podcast. See you next time.
Dragon Ball is all I do. All I want to see when I'm at home. I watch some Dragon Ball. Will you watch some Dragon Ball with me tonight? If you don't like Dragon Ball, you can kick rocks, 'cause I don't need you in my life, girl. If you don't like Dragon Ball, no. I love Dragon Ball so much, it makes me feel so good inside. I'ma hit this freestyle tonight on that Dragon Ball. To all of my Dragon Ball fans, I love you so much. We all have that thing in common. So when we watch Dragon Ball, we all love some Dragon Ball.